Over the last 12 months or so, the gaming market has been flooded with carbon copy small-town business simulators. That said, every now and then a gem rises above the rest. In my opinion, Fast Food Simulator is one of those standout titles, delivering the chaotic fun of burger flipping and bun stacking with its own unique charm. Like with most of these simulator games, there is a bit of a learning curve, so if you're as hooked as I am on this fast-paced grillside madness, here's my top tips and tricks to help your restaurant become a sizzling success. First tip's about batch cooking. While cooking to order might be unavoidable near the end of the day, prepping food in advance before opening your restaurant is by far the most efficient approach, and that's whether you're playing solo or multiplayer. The amount of food you'll need to prep will change as your restaurant levels up, gains popularity, and unlocks more recipes. Finding that perfect balance does take a bit of trial and error. If you end the day with a big pile of wasted food, you've over-prepped. However, if you're stuck cooking to order during those final hours, you didn't batch cook enough. Keep an eye on these patterns and you'll soon dial in the right amount to keep your customers fed quickly, but your waste minimal. Optimal efficiency for grilling the burgers. You can place the patties individually using the spatula or your hands, but there is a better way. Just grab the entire container and place patties directly from there. This is certainly faster and less tedious. A pro tip, don't slap all the patties on the grill in quick succession. Instead, leave a second or two between each one. This pacing ensures you have time to flip them properly and avoids overcooking. Aim for 100% cooked on both sides for the best quality, but if you do happen to overcook a little, don't stress. Customers won't start complaining until you hit around 125%, so you've got a bit of wiggle room. When the food's fully cooked, like placing the burgers, you can remove them with the spatula, but it's far more efficient to remove them directly with the burger tray. This is why I'd recommend cooking in batches of 6. This is the perfect number to fill a tray without the chaos of switching trays mid-grill, which can lead to fumbling and burned burgers. Another tip to do with batch cooking is the fryers. Food particles will progressively contaminate the oil as you cook more food. Customers will eventually start complaining about the level of contamination, so a change of oil is required at around 75% contamination. You can check the level of contamination with the waste oil can, and pro tip for this, you can pause a cook midway through to avoid wasting any. The next tip is about setting up your prep area for maximum efficiency. How you organise this space will depend on whether you're playing solo or multiplayer and how many players are involved in building the burgers. With more players, you can split tasks, but if you're playing solo or with a small group, chances are the responsibility for burger assembly is going to rest on just one person. Fun! In this scenario, it's all about keeping things within arm's reach. Just make sure veggie trays are fully stocked, sauce bottles are nearby, and pre-prep burger patties are easy to grab. One pro tip is about prepping buns ahead of time. While some players prefer to set buns on the same table as the assembly station, I've found it much more efficient to dedicate a second table specifically for buns. Bun tops can also be stacked on a burger paper, taking up much less room than having them spread out across the surface. You can bring this stack pile over to the assembly table, which takes up much less room, then go grab a pre-prep bottom half to work on as and when needed. But, and a big but, for the love of everything holy, do not press E on this huge stack like I did, because they'll wrap the paper and that giant stack of bun tops will be lost forever. That's everything for the cooked food prep. Few notes about the other amenities. Drink and ice cream cups can be stacked higher than the default. That's great for saving space and not having to locate more halfway through the day. Also a note about the coffee machine. If you've unlocked the milk recipe, with the milk jug, don't fill this up at the start of the day. Just keep a bottle of milk close by. I've had days where I've pre-prepped the jug and nobody has requested milk all day, so an entire bottle went to waste. Keep the bottle handy, but don't fill up the jug until a customer requests milk in their coffee. That's all my tips for setting up for the day. Next we're on to efficiencies whilst the restaurant is operational. First and foremost, when you get to the right level, hire the server and the busser. First few days, you might feel like it's a waste of money, but the restaurant popularity and in turn the number of customers you're serving per day, this ramps up really quickly. The wages for both of these helpers is minimal, it'll barely eat into your profits, and once you start unlocking more recipes and amenities, you'll be grateful for the help. The next tip is about organising tasks for the day ahead, and this will vary a lot depending on how many players are in your game. If you're playing solo, congratulations, you're already playing on hard mode, so don't feel bad if you're starting on the easy difficulty. Easy mode stops customers storming off, leaving behind half-completed orders destined for the trash. On normal difficulty or even higher, abandoned orders and extra waste, well, this'll be a fact of life, which means less profit and slower popularity growth. If you're lucky enough to be playing with a group, task management becomes a whole lot easier. Even with only 2 players, you can just about keep up by dividing responsibilities, one person focusing on cooking and prepping, another handling orders, drinks and ice cream. But do beware, if you run out of pre-prep food late in the day and need to cook more, that can really throw a wrench in your system with 2 players. With 3 or more players, you can really streamline things. Assign one person as the head chef for cooking, another as a line cook for prepping, someone else for drinks and ice cream, and if you have more players, a dedicated runner to take orders and deliver everything to the serving tray. That is a luxury setup, but if you can pull it off, it makes the day so much smoother. No matter how many people you're playing with, in multiplayer, communication is key. What I found works is the person assembling the burgers should take the lead, clearly calling out which order they're working on and when they're ready to move on to the next one. Always prioritise prepping the burgers first and only tackle drinks, fries and ice cream once the burger is being constructed. Most of the additional food items have temperature status effects, so it will start to lose or gain heat once they've been placed ready for serving, which will have customers complaining if it's been on the server tray too long. A cheat for this I've found with fries, which may or may not get patched at a later date. If you have packaged fries that have gone cold, click the box on the fryer and it'll magically regain its optimal starting temperature. Unfortunately, this only works with fries, you can't do that with the drinks or the ice cream. Next, let's talk about taking orders. Now, if you're playing solo, I found that taking orders one at a time is the way to go. This ensures that if you take too long, customers will just leave the queue rather than abandoning a half-prepped order, which saves you both time and frustration. In multiplayer though, speed is your friend. Take orders as soon as they come in. Some orders won't include burgers, so the front of house person can tackle those immediately without having to involve the kitchen crew. Early order taking also gives the kitchen crew a head start on prepping cooked food and gauging whether more items need to be cooked ahead of time. Oh, and a pro tip for burger prep, use the order monitor to your advantage. If you click on the monitor, you can scroll through the orders to get a clearer view of burger requests, and you can close completed orders on the screen to declutter the task list. That's a game changer for staying organised when you've got multiple orders in at the same time. Another pro tip for burger constructors, adding ingredients. You can either select these from the containers one at a time, or you can pick up the whole container and add them straight to the burger. Personally, I prefer to add the ingredients one at a time because picking up the whole container, I spend more time messing around getting the container back into position than it would take to pick the ingredients out one at a time. I have heard from other players that they find it quicker to place from the container though, so you do have a choice there. Oh, and one more must do, always label your burgers as soon as they're done. When a burger's wrapped up, if you click E, it'll bring up a keypad and you can type in what table or what window it's going to for the drive-thru. Since there's no way to unwrap burgers once they're packaged, labeling them to keep track of which burger belongs to which order is essential, especially when juggling multiple orders at once. My last thought on tasks for multiplayer, I would recommend rotating roles every day so that it doesn't get boring. This also gives you a good understanding of all the tasks needed to be performed by the various roles, so everyone understands how and why things are happening if there is a challenge or breakdown in the chain over a day. That's all I know about managing your day, but let's talk about closing up shop at the end of the day, because the game has a few sneaky tricks up its sleeve. First and foremost, any cooked ingredients that you've prepped will magically disappear when the next day starts, no matter where you leave them. So if you've got extra food, it won't stick around. For raw ingredients, like the burger patties, these must be stored in the fridge or freezer overnight to keep them safe, but they must be in their original box or the container, not the trays. Chopped veggies can also be stored in the fridge without any issues. Make sure to close the doors though. Sounds simple, but if you stored everything correctly and forgotten to close the door on the fridge or freezer, it'll be gone. What's left, the raw vegetables and unopened sauce cans, you can leave these on the shelves, they won't disappear. Then we've got the buns. Buns are a bit more flexible. As long as they're in their original packaging, even if it's open, you can leave them anywhere overnight and they'll be fine. That said, if you've got leftover pre-prep buns on wrappers, make sure to take them off the wrappers, or both the bun and the wrapper will vanish by the next day. If you take them off, the wrapper will still be there. Yeah, that pretty much sums up everything I've learned about the game from playing it wrong in the first place. I hope all these tips and tricks have been helpful for you to master the chaos that is Fast Food Simulator and take your burger empire to the next level. But do let me know in the comments if you disagree with anything or you have more tips to add. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.